Welcome to the Dana Grant Show, where heart-centered stories, authentic connections, real talk, and real action come together. I'm your host, Dana Grant. I'm a life coach, speaker, and believer in the boundless power within every one of us. Each week, we're diving into raw, transformative conversations that not only spark healing, but growth and unshakable clarity. Because you know what? Your story matters. Your voice deserves to be heard, and your purpose is waiting to be fully lived. You're in the right place. Let's begin.
I was asking the doctors how to get better when I should have been asking myself why. And once we answer why, figuring out the how to becomes clear and simple. And so I don't want your people to feel like or think for a moment that my recovery was a rah-rah. Motivational speakers are not effective if all they say is you can if you think you can. You know, build a bridge, be a big boy, don't cry, come on. No. We've got to create emotional prosperity that basically says, I know when I wake up, it's going to be hard. And once I know and acknowledge it's going to be hard, everything else becomes a challenge, not a problem. Every morning I wake up at 5 a.m. and I cold plunge 6.5 minutes at 42 degrees. Why? Because I know for the rest of the day, nothing can be that painful. For the rest of the day, nothing can be that hard. Everything else is going to be frosting on the cake. We've got to do something hard and believe that it's hard. And once we understand that, everything becomes easier. So think about this. When we only focus in on the what and the how, when we go to a social event, a networking event, tell me about yourself. Most people answer what I do and how I do it. Most corporations only talk about and sell what they do and how they do it. It's the golden circle of Simon Sinek. Start with why. It's so critically important because when we only ask the wrong questions, when we only focus on the how and the what, we only engage the brain, the head. But when we add to that a passionate why and a compelling want, which means our why really is bigger than our why not, it connects the head with the heart, and physiologically proven, neuroscience, our blood pumps more rapidly, our brains fire, and our muscles magnify, which maximizes our energy, maximizes our performance. When you see an athlete dig deep and access their second wind, or when you see a Steph Curry hit those last 4 3-pointers to win the gold medal, actually in the semifinal game of the last Olympic Games that got us into the final game, that's not he's in the zone. That's a belief system that triggers one of the 6 brain chemicals that I talk about in case studies in my book, Storytelling, so you know it's not just rah-rah. It's based in science. It's based in neuroscience. We can control our moods. We can fire up and increase our energy if we want to. And when we understand that, suddenly we have this mindset of resilience and we become a champion athlete walking into a gym every day of our lives. You see, a champion athlete walks into a gym with the intention to create discomfort on purpose. We walk in and on purpose, we're going to put more weight on the bar today than we had on it yesterday. And then we're going to spend an extra minute longer on the pre-core on the elliptical today than we did yesterday. And that's where we become the best we can be. All the strengthening occurs in the area past the point of discomfort. It's okay, bring it on. And here's where the brain damage it begins, and it just baffles me. I don't understand it. People leave the gym with that champion's mindset, and suddenly we want princess parking in every mall. We want a sale in every store. We want a 90-degree day with no humidity, with the breeze blowing over our shoulder out of Malibu Canyon. That's not reality, and because we expect it, our day is just filled with trials and tribulations and why me? You don't understand. Life sucks. No, it doesn't have to suck. Yeah. You can get back up and go again. I battled throat cancer when I was 8. I was hospitalized with COVID in 2019, almost died, 30 minutes from being intubated. I coughed so violently, I ruptured the blood vessels in my vocal cords. They scabbed. I coughed and ruptured them again. They scabbed over the scab. It grew. It was diagnosed as cancer. I have my first throat surgery in June of 2020. I've had 2 throat surgeries since. I apologize that my voice sounds like a 1-900 number, but if it sounds familiar to any of you, shame on you. You shouldn't be spending your money on that. But it's okay.
Yeah. No,
That's one of the
it's a
things
great,
I love
it's a
about you,
great
Dana.
place.
Bring it on. What is now? What can I do right now to be the best me I can be?
What can I do right now? It kind of brings us full circle to the people that are listening. What can they do, Dan, right now? So here, what if they haven't been doing that and they find themselves listening to this? They're inspired. What's a couple things they can do right now to reset, reboot, and re-engage in life at not only their terms, but to really build the momentum that is needed, the resilience that is needed? Can it be? I know it can
Well,
be trained at a
that's a
later
beautiful
age.
question. I got a great answer. So my buddy, uh, he becomes a volunteer ecclesiastical leader, kind of a lay minister in his church, and he's qualified. He's brilliant. He's a big time corporate guy, and he's got his education in psychology. And this woman makes an appointment with him, and she comes in and she has this big list, and she says, "Brent, I'm going to divorce my husband. I hate his guts. I've always hated him. I made a list of all the things I hate, I dislike about him,
Wow.
things that bug me." And she proceeded for about 30 minutes without taking a breath and read all of them. And he just sat there quietly. And then when she stopped, he says, "Where's your other list?" And she says, "What other list?" He says, Where's the list of the reasons why you fell in love with him? Why he was, the father of your children, why he provided, why he presided, why he protected, why all these positive things about him. And she says, "I'll see you on Tuesday." That was Sunday night. "I'll see you on Tuesday. I have another appointment." On Monday, she calls him back and she says, "I decided not to divorce my husband. Everything's going to be okay." So the two suggestions I have, no matter how tough life is, we have to have an attitude of gratitude, because as you're an expert in this, there's actual science-based proof that when you have an attitude of gratitude, it changes your physiology, it changes your mindset, it changes your health, your physical and mental wellness. And so what you need to do, if you feel like, woe me and life's caving in, don't be Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. No, itemize your life. And I have what is called a balance wheel. Every self-development guru has their own. Most of them have dissected life into 6 categories: physical, mental, spiritual, social, financial, and family. But they've titled these categories nouns which evoke no emotion. In my life experience, I've created a 9-category area balance wheel, and I've titled them action verbs. Physical fitness, you don't go to the gym just once. And you can change your mindset. If you feel like you're overweight, sluggish, obese, and you look at yourself in the mirror as a fat failure, that sabotages your ability or your desire, your energy to do anything about it. All you have to do is shift that mindset. Instead of looking at yourself in the mirror as a fat failure, look at yourself in the mirror as someone who's been very successful at putting on weight. We laugh. It's so
Love that.
powerful. It's
I
that
love that.
keep it simple strategy. Physical
Yeah.
fitness, continuous education, deeper spirituality. Religion's for those who are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for those of us who have already been there. Let's talk. Emotional stability, social networking at the highest levels. Stop hanging around with people who drag you down. Make a choice, walk on higher ground. Financial literacy. What do you do with your money so you don't have this debt anxiety? Family togetherness. No other success can compensate for failure in the home. Fun and recreation. How are you recalibrating? How are you filling back up your flask? And charitable giving, generosity. If you're hurting, all we have to do is find another person who is hurting. And when we help him or her, 2 souls are healed. It's always about service before self. So what you do is you categorically look at your life, not Chicken Little, sky's falling, sky's falling. No. Where are you 1 to 15 in your physical fitness, in your continuous education, in your deeper spirituality, in all 9 categories, which are found in my book, Storytelling, which just came out. And once you itemize, then figure out with an attitude of gratitude, what is going right in those aspects of your life. Instead of focusing in on the negative, focusing on the positive. We've been so bamboozled about cultural diversity. strength in diversity. No, strength in unity. Why are we talking about cultural diversity? Why don't we talk about cultural commonality instead of focusing on what makes us different? How about if we focus in on what makes us the same? The same God who made you made me too. I soared to the edge of space on October 23rd a few years ago. Over 17 miles above the Earth's surface, sat in the sounds of silence for 5 hours, looking at the breathtaking curvature of the Earth, gazing into the endless blackness of the universe, pondering eternity and my place in it. You know what? We're all related as brothers and sisters in the family of humanity. Let's love. Let's end the wars. Let's come together. It's so simple if we just have people like you, Dana, and as many people as can possibly believe what we believe to step up and make a difference. So itemize on what's going right in your life. And then the final suggestion is what my dad told me. Keep a stack of 3x5 cards. Talk about old school. Have a pen next to your bed at your nightstand. At the end of every day, before you go to bed, list at least one thing you learned today that you had not known before, which validates your day, regardless of how bad your day seemed to have been. It was worth living because you now are further ahead. You now know something that you didn't know before. And then make itemize one thing during the day that you think was a God thing. The other day, I'm racing. I'm flying along what we call 11th Avenue, pretty busy. And there's stop signs coming. And I'm cruising. And pretty soon, I see the speed bump coming up. So I kind of slow down for the speed bump, but I dropped my phone on the floor. And instinctively, I know I'm not supposed to do it, instinctively, with quick hands, I take my eyes off the windshield. I slow down, put my foot on the brake to slow down. I reach down to find my phone. I pick up my phone and I pick it up. Had I not slowed down, a car ran a stop sign going about, it was a big truck, going about 70, just kind of almost airborne. And I would have been T-boned in my little fast car. I would have been T-boned, and who knows what would have happened to my physical condition. So I immediately think, why should I take credit for that? Maybe it was divine intervention, and if not, why not? But why not think about that and just list one thing that could have been a God thing, connecting me with the source, with the universe, with the God that I actually call and worship as Almighty God.
Oh, my
Why
people
not?
are going to love, but my people are, the audience is going to love this. Not only do we speak the same language, but the way you deliver it, I think is so powerful. And even the unity thing. I had a unity t-shirt on early this morning and I spilled my blueberry protein drink on it and got blueberry on it. It's actually my washing machine right now. And it says just unity. And I look for synchronicities, which I don't believe in coincidences, but just the amount of knowledge and nuggets and you just poured in. I mean, I would encourage anyone on YouTube. I mean, this is on all platforms. Save this, listen to it again and again and again and again. And we should have Dan back. Don't you all agree? They're probably
I
going,
love that.
yay.
And you know what's so cool about you, Dana? You know, we could actually, I hope I meet you again and again and again. But think about it. We could be in the same room. We could be kicking back at a pool. We could be wherever. And we wouldn't have to say one thing for 45 minutes and we would still connect. You know, the lyrics to one of my songs that I quoted at Secret Knock to You, having a whole conversation just by just by holding my hand.
Yeah.
And not necessarily in a romantic sense, just being in the
Yeah.
same room with people like you
Yeah.
makes me a better human being. It inspires me to rise
Mm,
to the occasion. You
yeah.
know, your sophisticated elegance, your polished professionalism, your
Oh,
total
thank you, Dan.
class. I
Thank
love
you.
you. I
Well,
honor you.
people
And you
flocked around
exude
you.
service.
It was hard to get near you because it is true. You had groupies is what I call them, like circulating you. But for me, I always step back and I'm an observer. I watch and and I feel the energy of everything. And I'm like, when I'm ready, that everything will come. It's if it's meant for me, it's going to come back around. If it's not, it won't. And we talked about that earlier. So you are just a plethora of wisdom, knowledge, grounded. Now I know why you're such a great speaker. You really, I mean, we tell all these stories and then you just bring it all back in, and that's difficult for a lot of people. I was with my mom yesterday on Mother's Day, and I'm like, she goes, "Where are you going with that?" And I'm like, I have I, I'm going to connect the dots here. She goes, "You went down a rabbit hole and then and I'm like, a foxhole." And I'm like, "Yeah, but didn't I tie it all together? It was a little elongated." I said, but she goes, you don't do that on stage." And I'm like, "Listen, I'm not on stage. I'm with my mom." And I said, "And I got a lot to say here. And there's triggers here that don't happen on stage. We're not triggered there." And I think that your knowledge, your wisdom is so needed right now. It's so needed. I look for people right now that can serve. Well, service is so important, but that can serve and that people can relate to. It's not like that's a foreign concept. Keep it simple, connect, be of service, and listen and observe. And I think that will never go out of style. And the people and both of us, and I know that room was full of peacocks. You can see the fluff and the want and the need, and it's like, woo, that's a lot. And it just was brilliant to watch you there. And two things. My last question is, what feels like love in your life right now? You had a big life. You've had a big life. What right now feels like love in your life?
It's about serving. It's
Mm,
about doing something that you're not expected to do. The other day, I'm
mm.
walking through the airport with my son. I'm taking him to a rock and roll concert. I've trained him well. And
Well,
we're
what,
walking
what,
by.
now people are going to want to know what rock and roll concert. Who did you go see?
You're so bad.
I know. Oh, of
It was,
course I am. You said everything
it
was on
was,
the table. I'm asking.
it was the Killers.
Oh, I just saw that. I think on my little things at concerts that come up because I look and then I book them out because you've got to book them out. If you don't book them
Oh
out,
yeah.
and of course,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Was it good? Was it a good concert?
Yeah. I mean, I should have yanked your viewers change and said, "Oh, yeah, I went to the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, but yeah,
Oh
we've
no.
been
Oh no,
to
no, no. My people
this."
would have said they're going to be Googling that right now. And I mean, of course, I did go to James Taylor last year, but I
Oh
also
yeah.
went to Tina Turner. I mean, I mean, you need to show up where you want. And we talked
Yep.
earlier, and people are like, "You love Alice Cooper? Did he bite the head off a bat?" And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that's like
Oh yeah.
1970s or 80. I don't even know when that happened. But have you ever listened to Alice Cooper Goes to Hell? The real, well, I'm not going to say
Oh
album.
yeah.
That music,
He lives here in
every song
Scottsdale. Yeah,
on
he knows
there,
it.
it's on my playlist. I love it along with Peter. But and it is even that
So
year of music. It's just loving music. And I'm eclectic, so much music. But don't you think music is like it's just everything about it just moves us forward?
yep. So I'm taking my son. He liked the Killers, so I'm pacifying him. We're walking through the concourse of the airport, and there's an unopened packet of ketchup on the floor. So I
Mm.
instinctively pick it up and I went and threw it away in the garbage. We went down, had a little restaurant foot time, came back, and there was a dad with his young son sitting on a different gate. And he walks up and he approaches my son and I, and he goes, "Hey, sir, I watched you pick up that piece of trash that you didn't drop." And I pointed that out to my son. "Why did you do that?" I said, "It's just, I guess that's the way I've been raised. I just realized that it was an unopened pack and somebody's going to step on it and it's going to splatter ketchup everywhere. So why not just do my part?" And
Wow.
that's the
Yeah.
answer to your question. What I think about love is just serving others, trying to figure out something to do that also applies to the corporate world. Competitive advantage is
Mm.
never created by doing more than your competition. It's created by doing what your competition is not willing to do. So I love
Mm.
my children, my four kids, but I love my grandchildren. You and I share this. I have an 18-month-old grandson named Luca, Luka, and you have
Yeah.
a
He's
how
10 weeks
old
old,
is
I think, this week.
10
10
weeks
weeks
old,
old. Yeah.
and his name's Luca. Go figure. I've never heard that name other than the NBA
The Unity, the
superstar.
Luco, the Oakland. I mean,
I
we
know
could go
Oakland,
on. I mean, I
Denver.
could go on
Well,
dozens from the moment I met you of like, wow, 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 wow. And those wows we got to pay attention to because there's people that come into your life that are meant to come into your life. And I believe that. I think the universe is always working for us. You said things that are not only in my book, but that I preach. And hey, so I have a question. I know I asked you what felt
Yep.
like love, and it was the Killers and your son. I loved all that, and the Luca. But for someone that I'm getting ready to do another keynote Thursday, I fly out and go do it. Last keynote I did, the little clicker, there was a computer, my clicker didn't work. I had to hold my hands fly, I had to hold this, the thing didn't work. Well, for those of you that are watching or are listening, it's the, what is it called, the mic that hooks on the head didn't work, so I have to hold a microphone, which means when you move
I
that,
call it
your audio goes
I
in
call it
and out.
I call it the Janet Jackson lavalier that I never use because I don't want him to think I think I'm Michael Jackson.
Yeah, well, so all that
I'm still old
happened,
school.
and what I did was I left the little clicker, I left the all of the um oh God, not keto. What is the stuff up there on the board, Dan? Come on, help me out. I'm
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
yeah, left that, and
yeah.
I just said, "Hey, I'm just going to talk to you and connect today." Was that a good move or was that a bad move?
That was probably your best keynote you've ever delivered because
Mm,
people don't want to think it's a show. They want to know, do we really believe it? Do we really live it? Is it just part of our conversation? Is it our everyday thought? And when I teach public speaking, I focus on stories. You connect the stories. You have to have segue quotes. You have to have segue humor. But it's the essence of the story that teaches the principle, the life lesson. And
mm,
when we can stand on stage and know the stories that we want to share with the lessons, the life lessons quantified and the systems that we can present. I don't even use slides. Because what happens
yeah,
is when you put a slide up, all of the energy and connection goes to the screen.
yeah,
And if you keep that slide up on the screen, you never have that emotional connection anymore. So I
yeah,
always just belly to belly, heart to heart, come on, bring it on. And I
mm,
always have old school. So, because I've had too many PTS moments where the
yes.
technology doesn't work, the screen, the computer goes
It
out. Just
never works. You're
give
just
me a
on your
handheld
own.
microphone and let me talk. I want everybody to feel like they're, on a date with
Yeah.
me. We're in a booth in a restaurant and we're just having a wonderful one-on-one inspirational conversation. That's who you really are. I can't wait to see you on
Yeah.
stage doing a keynote because I know that's how you connect with people. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
I,
thank you, Dan. Well, you're a master connector, and my thing is, I don't want to speak at people. I want to hear
yeah,
from them. I want to interact. I want it to be like a. I don't care how many are there. I want it to be like a workshop. I want them to interact.
yeah,
I want to say,
yep,
hey, what do you feel about this? And I want them to. I want them to leave feeling something from my story, not just a story, but how did that impact you and shift your life to make a difference, a change? Because isn't that why we
yep,
do what we do? A change. And
yep.
I am not at any level that you're at. I mean, you are like a master pinnacle speaker. I am, I'm just a, I'm just bouncing around speaking. But
Well, you're
I am
awesome.
looking forward to next year, which I feel it's shifting. I feel it's shifting right now.
And it'd be an
And I'm
honor
just
for me.
open to
I
it.
think it'd be so good for us to be on the same platform, the same program together. It'd be an honor for me. I'd love it.
Oh, honor
But
for me
because we
too.
have
Oh
such
yeah.
natural chemistry, what would really be
Yeah.
fun is to sit on a panel so we could banter back and forth and just show people what love and respect really looks like, what it feels like. In the
Yeah.
law of attraction, Bob Proctor, our hero, he kind of
Yeah.
mystified it, in the secret. The bottom line, we don't attract who we
Mm.
want, we attract who we are. And that's really the
Mm.
essence of chemistry. That's the essence of this podcast interview. That's the essence of you on stage. And
Yeah.
when we can understand that our people, our peers, are those who believe what we believe, who want the best for us, they're not
Yeah.
critics, they're fans.
Yeah.
Why waste our time with people who just do not want the best for someone else, the best for life, the best for themselves? And it's so
Oh,
sad that some of those people refuse to seek us out without flattering ourselves.
yeah.
But here's the question: do we have to? You know, I I don't know even how to put it into words. We don't want to be self-righteous and pompous windbags, But when I walk into a room and people want to drag me into the past, I had my high school reunion just lately, and I realized how many people were trying to drag me into the past. Dan, I remember when used to get us in so much trouble. Yeah, I was a wild spirit. I was a wild, unbridled horse. I was an athlete. But you know what? Like I said earlier, when people keep dragging us into the past, it's like they're trying to rob our old house and we don't live there anymore. So at some point, we've got to draw a line in the sand and stop allowing these people to drag us back into negativity and invite them to walk on higher ground. Remember,
I love that. I think that's a mission statement, what you just said. A mission statement. I've gotten these letters that I've received, very dark letters letting me know who they think I am. They're never signed. And I'm like, well, if you really wanted to let me know how you felt, you would sign them, wouldn't you? But I can clearly see it's about them, not me. And I can see how I'm threatening somebody. And I want to extend love and compassion because I don't ever want them to feel so angry and threatened that you would generate such a dark letter that's like, woo, that's dark. I've gotten two of them. And so I know what you're saying. It's like but I could, it could have shut me down, Dan. It could have shut me down and it could have been like, I'm done with this, but instead I let it be a beacon of, you know what? I'm going to continue and I'm going to expand. I'm going to continue just heart-centered action. It doesn't matter what one person or whomever generated that, but whomever did is coming from a very dark place. It's not about me, it's about them. And all that being said, we could talk forever. We could talk forever. How can people find you? You've got your writing. Tell me how and where the hub you hang out in. I know you got a website. Talk about those. And then for those that are listening and are still watching, which I know you are, like on the edge of your seat, because you know what, when there's synergy and energy, it's captivating. You're captivating. Where can they connect with you?
My website's danclark.com. It kind of gives you a potpourri menu. But a confused customer is a non-active customer, so I don't want to give you too many choices. I have created my own app. It's called Dan Nation with an N, DANNATION. So because this is a podcast, go to the App Store and just enter in Dan Nation. My ugly mug will pop up. It's an actual app. I want you to get the app, sign up, and when you get the app, you'll have access to my entire menu, my 37 books, my video series called Master the Morning, Own the Day. We give away the free gift, so you get a free video every Monday on the app to help kickstart your day. They're 3 to 5 minute videos. One of my 37 books is a joke book. You never tell a joke when you speak, because if no one laughs, you bomb. But if you tell a joke with a message and no one laughs, you never bomb, because it embellishes your message. So I have a joke book of almost 200 time-tested, funny, hilarious jokes. It's my favorite quote book.
Oh my gosh, I have to have that because I tell terrible jokes, but I do laugh at myself a lot.
That's funny. So, and also the most important part of the Dan Nation is you'll get a free audio book of my most popular stories from the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. So I have my own books from Health Communications as the primary contributing author. But the most critical part of joining Dan Nation app, which I really want you to do so we can really keep in touch, it will give you access to join my community, where you can sign up for either 1 call a month or 2 calls a month or 4 calls a month every Monday. And it's 30 minutes. And we talk about the art of significance. We talk about culture. We talk about story selling. We talk about humor.
And so they're going to be able to connect with you live. It's not just taped.
And they're going to connect with you. Once a month, I'll always have a guest. If you go to my website, I've interviewed every famous athlete, musician, and actor on the planet. So we'll have a celebrity interview at least once a month on one of these 4 calls, and talk about life, talk about entrepreneurship, talk about love, talk about relationships, talk about everything. And I want it to be that kind of a Dan Nation community, because whatever the topic is, we'll have some interaction and we can have a Q&A. So it's going to be live every Monday And I challenge all of you to sign up for the VIP package, which gives you discounts on all my books, tells you when I have my master classes, when I have my speaker boot camps. I have Speak Like a Pro, a 6-week course that will take you from where you are to where you want to be so you can get paid to speak. And remember, I've been doing this for 40 years. I've been doing this a lot way before Dana was born. How sad is that?
I
You
don't
young,
think so.
you young
I look
thing.
much younger than I am, but thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Join that nation. And then the last offer, my story selling book. I want you to go to Barnes and Noble instead of the Amazon. Go to Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
You get it same price. It's the same deal, but I always try to honor the bookstores, the mom and pa's, and the Books a Million, and the Barnes and Nobles, because I read one book a week. I have for the last 16 and a half years, and it's probably the greatest asset to fix what's broken in our lives, to expand our understanding, and to really make sure we're the best that we can be. Look at you, girl. Oh my gosh.
I just got this delivered. I mean, there's a stack here because I order about every 2 days. I order one.
Oh, yeah.
But this one, I'm loving this one. I walked the Camino last year, and I'm loving this book called Walk. For those of you that can see it, I just put a book up by Walk. But his books, out of all your books and everything you've done, what's one book they're going to go out and get? They're going to walk into Barnes and Noble today. They're going to listen to this. They're going to go get.
I would say 2 books. The Art of Significance, Achieving the Level Beyond Success. That's available on Amazon. And then the latest book that just came out, Story Selling. And the reason why is because when you can figure out how to tell the right story at the right time for the right reason, and actually index your plethora, your menu of stories that you already have polished and perfected that you like to tell with life lessons, you can figure out which story to tell to trigger which of the 6 brain chemicals: adrenaline, endorphin, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, or cortisol. Adrenaline is the urgency drug. Endorphin is the motivational drug. Dopamine is the performance drug. Serotonin is the recognition drug. Oxytocin is the love drug. And cortisol is the stress drug. When we can master the art of story selling, we can master the art of communication and take every conversation, one-on-one, one on 200, one on 40,000 in an arena. You can see the pictures of me speaking in the giant arenas on my website. It doesn't matter. Every person in every conversation craves the answers to 3 questions. Why should I listen to you? It's the credibility piece. Have you done it? Are you currently doing it? Can I do it too? With my past, with my weaknesses, with my limitations, with my strengths. It's the credibility and the possibility piece. And if you answer credibility and possibility, it begs the answer to the 3rd question: how do I do it? How do I get from where I am to where I want to be? Is it worth it to me? It's the usability piece. And so this book, Story Selling, it will take you and guide you through the evolutionary process of how to become this extraordinary communicator. And to illustrate each of these 6 brain chemicals, I tell some of my most famous stories. You will laugh your guts out. You will cry. I teach you how to create humor. For example, there's a 50% divorce rate in America. We've all heard that. How do you make that funny? That's tragic. How do you make that funny? Yeah. You know, I just read 1 out of 4 young men and young women are refusing to get married because they just found out that 50% of marriages actually last a lifetime, and they don't want to take that chance. I thought that was funnier than you did.
But I thought it was funny, but I was thinking of my own circumstances, how I did think it was going to last a lifetime. And, but I think we attract what we need to evolve. I'm grateful. It's not like I'm not grateful it all happened and went down, and it's in my book, but I'm grateful that the lesson, I wouldn't be here and evolved where I am today without that.
Well,
and I look at everything. It's like, I always say, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? And it's what I need to know.
When I got hurt playing football, I had people come up to me, family members, teammates, coaches, people who I knew loved me. They came up to me and they said, I know what you're going through. And I used to think, you don't have a freaking clue.
I have a freaking clue. No.
Psychologists teach us the average person talks between 200 and 400 words a minute. And yet we think between 400 and 800 words a minute, which means no one ever knows everything that we think. No one ever knows everything that we feel. No one ever knows everything that we want to say. The author of Thoreau was right when he wrote, men lead lives of quiet desperation. So when we
Mm.
find someone who has gone through what you're going through, Dana, when we
Yeah.
find someone who's been paralyzed physically and emotionally, when you find someone who's going through trust and abandonment issues, betrayal issues, and you're sorting it through and you're becoming stronger as a human being, more understanding of love and communication, and you're becoming an
And
expert in
forgiveness.
trust. And
I
exactly,
mean, well,
suddenly
yeah.
you're now this, sadly, through this, you've become a more powerful mentor, an expert
Yeah.
eyewitness on counseling someone else, who
Yeah.
after the fact will become a blessing to hundreds and thousands of women who are going through what you're going through,
Yeah.
because suddenly and sadly you're a resident expert now. You just got a PhD in relationships.
I just told
So my
someone that, and they're
question to
like,
you
"What
is,
would you do it over again? And would you choose that?" And I'm like, well, what an odd question. I didn't, I was, I think that everything is working for me. So I chose it. It's not good or bad, but I hold space for both the healing, the forgiveness. And of course I was angry. Of course,
and
the hurt, betrayal are there, but you transform it. And you know what? I would love to have you in my new community. I would love for you to come and talk and expand because I think we are, like you said, we are not done yet. I can see us on stage. I can
that's
see it
it.
all. But it's like,
That's
I
it.
can't wait. My people, you just pour in. You're so generous. I adored you from the moment I met you. I'm like,
Agreed.
when there's events that go on, you're like, well, why am I here? I mean, Greg invited me, and I'm like, oh, Greg, that's in the middle of my week. I'm going to miss a lot of clients. No, no, no. But you look and you don't scan, but the energy just rises and you connect with certain people in a room full of 300 and people are, and I see it out there and I'm like, I didn't meet them. I didn't meet them. I didn't meet them, but you meet who you need to meet. And
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you for seeing me.
No,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
being so
I
generous.
met you.
I just I think that people are going to love this. We're going to have all the links where you can find Dan Clark. I mean, we're going to have it all because I think he's built out a system that I think everybody's going to need, and we're going to give his books. We're going to give it all. So if you did write that
And
down, we're going to recap it.
and my
Dan,
app Damnation also will have
yeah,
a
Dan
music button.
Nation. Oh
I've
my gosh,
got about 660 plus brand new songs that I've written and recorded,
yeah.
and they'll
Let's
be
not forget the
available on
music.
Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Music probably in the next 2 weeks, but they'll also be totally accessible on my Damnation app on my music button, my music page. So if anybody really wants to to find out what I think and what I feel it put into words and melody, that's my music's my favorite world. So there you go. I've
Heart
opened my
centered.
chest, and
What
now
feels like love?
you can get to know.
Music. Music is what I heard. You heard it here
Yes, ma'am.
first. Dan Clark, you are a joy. You are a blessing. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Love
you for
you.
being here.
Honor
And
you.
for everyone that showed up today, thank you for joining us on the Dana Grant Show. This is probably my longest recorded podcast. What a treat. Full of generosity, full of nuggets. You're going to want to download it and listen to it again and again. Until next time, thanks, everyone.